The stars had always been humanity's silent companions. People looked up at the night sky and imagined wonders beyond their reach. But for Dr. Liana Chen, the stars were not just a canvas for dreams, they were a map of patterns and secrets waiting to be understood. Liana worked at the Global Space Observation Center, a massive station orbiting high above Earth. Her days and nights blended into a continuous stream of data, numbers and signals from across the solar system. Today, like so many other days, she pored over the streams of information coming from the deep space sensors. But something was different. At first, it was subtle. A flicker in the communications, a brief signal that didn't match anything known. Satellites, probes, even distant spacecraft. Something was interfering. Liana's mind raced through possibilities. A natural phenomenon? A glitch in the sensors? She shook her head. The patterns repeated, and they were too organized to be random. "They're watching," she whispered to herself, eyes glued to the monitor. The idea sounded absurd. Who could be watching Earth? Humans had barely started to explore beyond their solar system. But the signals told a story that the world was not ready to hear. Across the globe, most people remained blissfully unaware. Cities thrived with everyday chaos, cars honking, markets bustling, children laughing in playgrounds. Life went on as it always had. Governments received Liana's reports, but many dismissed her concerns. A few scientists shared her unease, but the majority insisted these were just anomalies. "Space is unpredictable," they said. "It's nothing to worry about." But Liana knew better. Weeks later, the warning signs became impossible to ignore. A cluster of satellites in the outer orbit suddenly vanished without explanation. Communications went dark for hours. Engineers scrambled, trying to understand what had happened, but no natural cause fit the pattern. Dr. Chen presented her findings at the UN Space Council meeting. The room was large, circular, with representatives from nearly every country. Screens showed graphs, maps, and strange signals that Liana had decoded. "The evidence is clear," she said, her voice steady but urgent. Someone is mapping Earth. This is not a natural event. I believe we are being observed by an advanced civilization." The room fell silent. A few faces turned pale. Some leaned forward, intrigued. Others exchanged nervous glances. Ambassador Rivas, a veteran diplomat from South America, was the first to speak. "Dr. Chen, you're suggesting an extraterrestrial intelligence is actively monitoring our planet." "Yes," Liana replied. "And they are doing more than watching. Their probes are precise, calculated. They know our defenses. They know our weaknesses." A murmur spread across the chamber. "Weaknesses?" asked a delegate from Europe. "They are testing us," Liana said. "Every anomaly, every disruption in our satellites and communications, it's a measurement. They are preparing for something." Some members dismissed her words as fear-mongering. "We don't even know if intelligent life exists beyond our solar system," one counselor argued. "We must not act hastily." But Liana's warnings were not unfounded. 2 nights later, the first true act of aggression occurred. It began with a flash in the sky. Observatories around Earth recorded a small asteroid suddenly changing course, moving directly toward the outer communication satellite array. Attempts to redirect it failed. The asteroid collided with the satellites, shattering them into thousands of fragments. The explosion sent a signal across the world that humanity could not ignore. News channels broadcast the event continuously. Headlines screamed, "Satellite cluster destroyed in outer orbit, accident or attack." Military leaders were quick to respond. Commanders gathered in secure bunkers, calculating the implications. If this was not an accident, they realized, Earth had entered the radar of a civilization far beyond their own. Admiral Rail, commander of the Earth Space Defense Fleet, studied the damage reports. He was a seasoned officer with decades of experience in strategy and warfare. But even he felt unease at the precision of the strike. "This isn't random," he said, voice low but firm. "They know exactly where to hit to cause maximum disruption. Someone is testing us, and we need to find out why." Meanwhile, civilians reacted in various ways. Some panicked, hoarding supplies and moving underground. Others dismissed the warnings, claiming it was just another technological glitch. But the scientists, engineers, and military experts who understood the signs knew that humanity's time of innocence had ended. Liana worked tirelessly with her team. They tracked the source of the anomalies, triangulating the mysterious signals. The results shocked even her. The probes were not merely passing by. They were positioned to observe every major city on Earth. orbiting in calculated patterns that suggested a level of intelligence far beyond human capability. "This is no ordinary civilization," Liana said one evening to her assistant. "Raj, their technology is advanced faster than anything we have, and they are patient. They are waiting for the right moment." Raj, a young engineer with a sharp mind, nodded slowly. "Then we need to be ready," he said. "If they are watching, we have to prove we are not defenseless." The following weeks were tense. Governments increased funding for space defense, secretly developing new weapons and surveillance systems. Engineers and scientists worked day and night, building experimental satellites, energy shields, and propulsion systems. Humanity began to show its first sparks of coordinated defense, driven by fear and determination. But the Empire, the name Liana gave to the unseen observers, was patient. They waited until humanity had begun to understand the threat, then acted with brutal efficiency. One morning, alarms blared across the observation center. Monitors displayed the Empire's first direct strike beyond the outer orbit. A series of small satellites in a mining belt near Mars exploded simultaneously, sending debris flying across space. Dr. Chen's heart pounded. "They're escalating," she said. "This is a message." The news reached Earth's media, igniting panic and fear. Headlines now screamed warnings. "An unknown force strikes in space, Earth may be next." Admiral Rael convened an emergency meeting with top commanders. "This is no longer a warning," he said. "They have crossed the line. Our defenses must be ready. We will not wait to be destroyed." Across the globe, humans began to prepare. Citizens volunteered to assist with research. Engineers developed new technologies, and children in schools were taught basic survival drills. Earth was waking to the reality that it was not alone, and it would not surrender without a fight. Despite the fear, there was also hope. Humanity had faced crises before and had always found a way to survive. This was no different, except the scale was cosmic and the enemy was unknown. But if there was one thing the stars had always taught humans, it was this: intelligence, courage, and unity could overcome even the greatest challenges. Dr. Liana Chen stared out of the observation window at the dark expanse of space. The Empire was out there, watching, waiting, testing, but she knew something they did not. Humans were unpredictable, resourceful, and resilient. "They may have advanced technology," she whispered to herself, "but we have something stronger. We have hope, and we will fight for our home." As Earth braced for the next move, the message was clear. Humanity had entered a new era, one in which courage, ingenuity, and determination would define survival. The stars were no longer just distant lights, they were the battlefield of the future. And the first chapter of this battle had just begun. The destruction of the Mars mining satellites was only the beginning. Humanity now understood one chilling truth: the Empire had crossed the line. They were no longer testing the waters. They were probing Earth's defenses, and every act, every calculation, was meant to measure humanity's response. In the halls of the Global Defense Coalition, leaders from every continent gathered in urgent session. The coalition had been formed as a response to the initial warnings, but now it faced its first true test. Diplomats, military generals, and scientists crowded around holographic displays showing the outer solar system and the path of the Empire's probes. Admiral Rael leaned over the table, tracing the movement of the incoming probes. "They are precise. They know our fleet formations, our satellite arrays, even our communications. Every action we take is being measured." Dr. Liana Chen's voice was calm but firm, "and it's deliberate. They are testing our reactions, our ability to adapt. If we fail, the consequences could be catastrophic." A young military officer interrupted, frustration in his voice. "Then why wait? Why not attack them first?" Rael shook his head. "We cannot underestimate them. Any rash action could trigger full-scale war. We need strategy, not panic." The tension was palpable. Earth had fought wars before, but never against a civilization with technology so advanced it seemed almost magical. The fleet could not match the Empire in firepower, speed, or precision. Every defense system humans had was being analyzed and assessed. Despite the fear, the coalition acted. Plans were drafted for a counteroffensive, but cautiously. A fleet of Earthships, led by Admiral Rael, was prepared to intercept the Empire's probes before they could reach critical positions near the asteroid belt. These were not full battleships, they were fast, maneuverable. and equipped with the best human technology could produce. As the fleet launched into space, civilians watched anxiously from Earth. Families gathered around screens to see humanity's first active response. Schools, offices, and homes fell silent, waiting for news from the frontiers of the solar system. The journey through space was tense. Each ship moved carefully, scanning for anomalies and unexpected threats. Sensors detected small fleets of Empire drones shadowing the human vessels. They were fast, almost impossible to track, and clearly designed for reconnaissance. Dr. Chen monitored the mission from Earth's command center. "They are baiting us," she said, pointing at the holographic map. "They want us to follow, to reveal our strategies." Despite this, Admiral Rail pressed forward. The fleet reached the outer edges of the asteroid belt, where the Empire's first direct targets were located. It was a trap. As predicted, dozens of small drones emerged from hiding surrounding the human ships. The sudden appearance caused momentary panic among the crews, but humans adapted quickly. Using innovative maneuvers and calculated teamwork, they avoided the drones' attacks. It was a display of ingenuity. Pilots coordinated without direct communication, anticipating movements and covering each other. Even in the face of superior technology, humans found a way to survive. One of the younger pilots, Lieutenant Miko Yara, executed a daring maneuver around a dense asteroid field, luring several drones into collisions. "We can do this," he said over the comms, his voice steady despite the chaos. Meanwhile, Dr. Chen directed the human fleet's sensors to exploit the Empire drones' patterns. "They repeat their scans too predictably," she noted. "We can anticipate their moves and strike at weaknesses." The battle lasted hours. In the end, Earth's fleet suffered minor losses but succeeded in destroying the majority of the Empire's drones. It was a small victory, but a significant one. Humanity had shown that even against superior technology, creativity, courage, and coordination could achieve results. Back on Earth, the news spread quickly. The public cheered the pilots' bravery, though many did not understand the full scale of the threat. Governments reinforced military production, scientists developed experimental weapons, and engineers improved ship designs. Every corner of humanity contributed to the growing effort. Yet the Empire was not deterred. In a calculated move, they attacked one of Earth's remote lunar bases. The base, a research station on the moon's far side, was lightly defended but crucial for monitoring deep space. Within hours, communications from the base went dark. Admiral Rail received the news in the Fleet Command Center. His face was grim. "They want to test our response again. This is escalation, deliberate and precise." Dr. Chen analyzed the Empire's tactics. "They are measuring human decision-making," she explained. "Every time we react, they learn. Every move we make teaches them our strengths and weaknesses. If we are to survive, we need to change our approach." The solution she proposed was not more force, but smarter force. Earth's engineers worked to develop stealth ships, unmanned drones, and advanced defense systems that could move unpredictably. Every effort was to break the Empire's expectations of human behavior. Meanwhile, civilians played their part. Volunteers helped build drones, simulate battles, and test new technologies. Children learned about teamwork, problem-solving, and resilience. Humanity was becoming a single, united force, determined to defend its home. Weeks passed and small skirmishes continued in the outer solar system. The Empire tested Earth's defenses repeatedly, but every time humans responded, they adapted, learned, and improved. It became clear that while the Empire had advanced technology, it could not predict the full ingenuity of the human mind. Then came the decisive moment, a direct communication from the Empire's fleet. A massive object entered Earth's orbit, displaying a holographic message visible from all observation points. Its words were clear and intimidating. "Your planet is under observation. Cease all defenses or face destruction." Leaders debated in emergency session. Some urged surrender to avoid immediate destruction. Others argued for resistance, believing humanity could survive with careful planning. Admiral Rail stood, calm but resolute. "They have underestimated us," he said. "They see our technology and think it defines us. But they do not understand human courage, creativity, or unity. We will not surrender." Dr. Chen added, "This is our chance to show them that humans are unpredictable, resourceful, and strong. If we act together, we can turn their calculations against them." With the world watching, Earth prepared for its first full-scale defensive operation. Ships were armed, satellites equipped with new technology, and experimental weapons tested under pressure. Every human was aware that the coming days would define the planet's future. On the eve of the confrontation, Liana looked up at the sky from the observation center. The stars were no longer distant points of light. They were arenas of battle, spaces where humanity would prove its worth. "They think they know us," she whispered, "but we are not predictable. We are strong. We are human, and we will not be broken." The first shots of the new conflict had been fired, but the battle had only just begun. Humanity had crossed the threshold from peaceful observers to active defenders. The Empire had crossed the line, but now Earth was ready to fight back, and in the hearts of humans everywhere, hope burned brighter than any star. The Empire's warning had shaken the world, but it had not broken it. If anything, humanity had become more determined than ever. Across the globe, the sound of machinery, the hum of satellites, and the chatter of laboratories filled the air. People worked day and night, united by a single goal: to defend Earth. At the Global Defense Coalition, Dr. Liana Chen and Admiral Rael coordinated their plans. They had learned that brute force alone would not win against the Empire. Instead, they needed strategy, ingenuity, and unpredictability, the very qualities that defined humanity. "Our ships can't match their speed," Dr. Chen said, pointing to a holographic display of fleet formations. "Our weapons are limited, but we can outthink them. We can strike where they do not expect and move faster than they predict." Admiral Rael nodded. "We must turn our weaknesses into strengths. We cannot win by fighting them head-on. We will win by being smarter, faster, and more resourceful." Engineers worked tirelessly to implement her ideas. New ships were designed with advanced propulsion systems, capable of rapid maneuvers in space that the Empire had not anticipated. Unmanned drones were built to scout, distract, and even carry small weapons. Human creativity combined with determination was beginning to even the odds. Meanwhile, on Earth, civilians contributed in ways big and small. Volunteers assisted in assembling drones, coding software for navigation systems, and testing prototype shields. Schools and universities ran programs to help simulate battles and predict the Empire's moves. Everyone became part of the effort, and for the first time in history, humanity was united in purpose. The first real test of humanity's newfound strategy came in the asteroid belt near Jupiter. The Empire had sent another fleet, a mix of drones and large warships, to disrupt Earth's mining stations and communication hubs. This time, humans did not wait passively. Admiral Rael's fleet launched quickly and quietly. Ships weaved through asteroid fields, hiding from the Empire's sensors. Drones moved ahead, marking enemy positions and creating false signals. Humans were no longer easy targets, they were unpredictable. Lieutenant Miko Yara led a daring maneuver. "Keep them guessing," he said over the comms. "If we move like they expect, we lose. We move differently, and we can turn the fight in our favor." The battle was chaotic but brilliant. The Empire's drones attacked in perfect coordination, but humans anticipated their moves. Small teams executed flanking maneuvers, dodging attacks while striking the Empire's supply lines. Explosions lit up the darkness of space, not just as acts of destruction, but as signs of human ingenuity. Dr. Chen guided the fleet from the command center on Earth. Using real-time data, she predicted enemy movements and suggested unexpected tactics. "They are relying on their advanced systems," she explained to Admiral Rael, "but they cannot predict human creativity. That is our advantage." By the end of the engagement, humanity had not only defended the mining stations, but had also destroyed a significant portion of the Empire's drones. It was a small victory, but it carried immense weight. Humans had proven that courage, coordination, and intelligence could match superior technology. News of the battle spread quickly. Across the globe, people celebrated the bravery of the pilots and engineers. While some feared further attacks, many now felt hope. Humanity was not defenseless. Humanity was strong. But the Empire had not underestimated humans. They had been intrigued. The human response had been unexpected, intelligent, and effective. In the Empire's command ships, officers studied the battle recordings with surprise. They had assumed that advanced technology and overwhelming force would ensure victory. They had not anticipated human unpredictability. Back on Earth, the Global Defense Coalition seized the momentum. Liana Chen and her team worked to improve ship designs further. Engineers experimented with cloaking technology, electromagnetic pulse devices, and rapid deployment shields. Scientists explored ways to enhance communication between ships and drones, allowing for near-instant coordination. Civilians continued to play a crucial role. Volunteer networks expanded, connecting engineers, programmers, and strategists worldwide. People shared ideas openly, tested simulations, and helped refine tactics. Even ordinary citizens contributed by monitoring communications and reporting anomalies. Humanity was transforming into a living, thinking defense network, far more resilient than the Empire had expected. Meanwhile, on the front lines, young pilots became legends. Miko Yara and his team executed impossible maneuvers around asteroid fields, confusing the Empire's fleet and buying critical time for Earth's main forces. Their courage inspired the fleet and civilians alike. "They think they can scare us," Miko said in a broadcast. "But we are humans. We adapt, we fight, and we survive." Admiral Rail knew that these victories, though small, were crucial. They were more than battles, they were statements. Humanity had proven its determination, its intelligence, and its resilience. And for the first time, the Empire had to reconsider its assumptions. The Empire responded by sending emissaries, floating holographic ships that displayed messages across space. "Cease your resistance," the holograms warned. "You cannot oppose us. Surrender, and you may survive." Admiral Rail's response was firm and unwavering. "We will not surrender. Earth is our home. We fight for our families, our people, and our future. We will resist any force that threatens our freedom." Dr. Chen added, "They may have superior technology, but they underestimate our strength. Humanity is not predictable, and we will prove it again and again." The Empire's emissaries departed without further warning, but their message had strengthened human resolve. Across Earth, citizens took part in drills, experiments, and volunteer programs. Children learned the importance of teamwork and problem-solving. Engineers tested new devices that could help pilots maneuver more effectively. Humanity was no longer passive. It was becoming an active, intelligent force. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months. The Empire tested Earth repeatedly, sending small fleets to scout and disrupt. Each time humans adapted, they learned quickly, improved their systems, and developed new strategies. Every encounter added to humanity's knowledge and confidence. One significant moment came when Earth's fleet intercepted a large group of Empire supply ships. Using human ingenuity, they lured the fleet into a trap among a dense asteroid field. Ships weaved and darted unpredictably, while drones created distractions and false signals. The Empire's fleet was caught off guard, losing several ships before they could escape. The victory was celebrated worldwide. People cheered not only for the pilots but for engineers, scientists, and every civilian who had contributed. Humanity had shown that even against a technologically superior foe, courage, creativity, and unity could turn the tide. Admiral Rail stood before the fleet, pride in his eyes. "This is just the beginning," he said. "The Empire thought they could intimidate us. They were wrong. We are humans. We do not surrender. We adapt, we overcome, and we will continue to fight for our home." Dr. Liana Chen looked up at the stars from the observation center. Her thoughts focused on the battles ahead. "The Empire is learning about us," she whispered. "But they still do not understand what it means to be human. They do not know our courage, our determination, or our ability to unite when it matters most, and that will be our greatest weapon." Humanity had faced its first true test, and it had risen to the challenge. Small victories had shown the power of human ingenuity, and the spirit of cooperation and courage had grown stronger than ever. Across the globe, people felt a renewed sense of purpose. They were not just defending Earth. They were proving that humanity could rise to any challenge, no matter how advanced the opponent. The Empire had crossed the line, but now humanity was not waiting for destruction. They were actively shaping the battle. The stars above were no longer distant points of light. They were arenas where human courage, intelligence, and unity would be tested. And humanity was ready to meet that test head-on with unyielding spirit. The first sparks of hope had become a blazing fire, and the message was clear. Humans would not bow. Humans would not surrender. Humans would fight, and they would prove that even against the most advanced force in the galaxy, courage, ingenuity, and unity could prevail. The war for Earth had only just begun, but humanity had already shown the first signs of victory. Humanity's early victories had given the world hope, but the Empire was far from defeated. On the edge of the solar system, its command ships gathered in formation, vast and imposing. Every movement was calculated, every tactic precise. They had studied human responses, learned their patterns, and now they intended to strike back with overwhelming force. Admiral Rail received the first reports while coordinating fleet defenses near Mars. "They're mobilizing a large fleet," his aide said. "It's bigger than anything we've encountered." Rail's jaw tightened. "Then we face our biggest test yet. Alert all ships. Prepare for full engagement." Across Earth, people braced for impact. Cities ran emergency protocols, schools implemented drills, and research facilities worked non-stop to improve weapons and shields. Humanity had learned from the past skirmishes, but now the stakes were higher. The Empire was no longer probing. They were attacking. Dr. Liana Chen analyzed the incoming fleet's trajectory. "They're not attacking randomly," she said. "Every strike is targeted at critical points, space stations, supply routes, even our experimental facilities. They want to cripple our infrastructure before a direct assault on Earth itself." The first wave hit near the outer asteroid belt. Empire warships fired with deadly precision. Explosions erupted in space, lighting up the darkness as human stations and drones were damaged. Panic rippled across the coalition fleet, but Admiral Rail's calm presence steadied the crews. "Stick to the plan," he said. "We fight smart, not just hard." Human ingenuity shone under pressure. Small strike teams used asteroid fields as cover, hiding from enemy sensors and launching surprise attacks. Drones created false signals, confusing the Empire's targeting systems. Ships weaved unpredictably, making it nearly impossible for the enemy to aim accurately. Lieutenant Miko Yara led one of the boldest maneuvers. His squadron darted through a dense field of asteroids flanking the Empire's fleet. They destroyed a supply ship and disabled a communications array before slipping back into cover. "They didn't expect that," he said over the comms. "That's the advantage of being human." But the Empire's retaliation was swift and brutal. They unleashed advanced weaponry capable of slicing through shields and hulls with frightening accuracy. Several human ships were damaged or destroyed. Explosions lit the cold darkness of space as the Empire demonstrated why it had been feared across galaxies. Admiral Rail's command ship was struck by a near-miss blast, shaking the crew. "Maintain formation," he shouted. "Do not panic." Dr. Chen, monitoring from Earth, calculated a risky plan. "If we can disrupt their command network even temporarily, it will create confusion in their fleet." "It's risky, but it may be our only chance," Rail approved. A specialized team of pilots and drones prepared for a daring mission: to infiltrate the Empire's fleet, bypass its advanced sensors, and strike at the command ship directly. The mission was dangerous, almost suicidal, but it was humanity's best hope. As the fleet prepared for the assault, civilians on Earth held their breath. Every citizen knew that the fate of their home planet depended on the courage and skill of a few brave pilots. Engineers made last-minute adjustments to ships and weapons, while volunteers monitored data streams, searching for any sign that could aid the mission. The assault began under the cover of a massive asteroid field. Human ships moved with precision, using stealth technology and unpredictable maneuvers to avoid detection. Drones created diversions, drawing the Empire's attention away from the real attackers. Inside the Empire's formation, the infiltrating team faced immense challenges. Automated defense turrets, patrol drones, and advanced sensors threatened to detect every move. Yet human creativity and quick thinking allowed them to bypass the most dangerous obstacles. They used small asteroid fragments to hide their approach, timed their movements with the patrol rotations, and even employed electromagnetic pulses to disable sensors temporarily. Dr. Chen guided the team remotely, her voice calm but focused. "Move now, Miko. Wait for the perfect alignment. And strike." The team launched a precision strike at the Empire's command ship. Explosions rippled across the enemy vessel, disabling communications and navigation systems. Chaos spread quickly through the Empire fleet as orders became delayed and coordination faltered. Admiral Rael seized the opportunity. "All ships engage," he commanded. The human fleet, smaller but clever, exploited the confusion. Ships darted between enemy vessels, striking where defenses were weakest. Explosions illuminated the darkness of space, showing the Empire that humans were more than technology. They were adaptable, resourceful, and relentless. The battle raged for hours. Losses were heavy on both sides, but humanity's unexpected tactics turned the tide. The Empire's fleet, disrupted and disoriented, began to retreat. Though battered and exhausted, humans had achieved a remarkable victory. Back on Earth, citizens celebrated cautiously. The victory was significant, but the war was far from over. Humanity had proven it could fight, adapt, and innovate under pressure, but the Empire had vast resources and knowledge. The next confrontation would be even more dangerous. In the aftermath, Admiral Rael addressed the fleet. Today we showed the Empire that humans are not to be underestimated. We are brave, clever, and united, but the fight continues. Prepare for the next engagement and remember, we fight for our home, our families, and our future. Dr. Chen reflected on the battle from the observation center. They expected us to react predictably, she said quietly. But humans are never predictable. That is our greatest strength. We think, adapt, and find solutions where others see only obstacles. The Empire, meanwhile, analyzed the failure of its command ship. Officers in the enemy fleet were frustrated and surprised. They had assumed their technology and superior firepower would guarantee victory. Humans had defied their calculations, proving that even in the face of overwhelming odds, intelligence, courage, and ingenuity could create opportunities for triumph. Humanity had learned valuable lessons. They improved their fleet's maneuverability, enhanced communication between ships and drones, and refined stealth technology. They also realized that morale, courage, and quick decision-making were as important as weapons and shields. Across Earth, the effects of the battle were visible. Factories worked around the clock, building new ships and drones. Scientists experimented with new propulsion systems and energy shields. Civilians contributed in any way they could, coding, monitoring sensors, or running simulations. Humanity was mobilized not just for defense, but to demonstrate that determination and creativity could challenge even the most advanced foe. The battle had strengthened human spirit. Children learned about teamwork and problem-solving. Families discussed courage and perseverance. Communities organized support networks to assist in research, production, and strategy. Humanity was becoming not only a united defense, but a society shaped by resilience and hope. Admiral Rael and Dr. Chen met in the command center to plan the next phase. "They will come again," Rael said. "And next time they may be stronger." Dr. Chen nodded. "Then we must be smarter. We have learned from them, and we will adapt faster than they expect. Humanity's strength is not in weapons alone. It is in our minds, our courage, and our unity." The stars above Earth were no longer distant points of light. They were battlefields, arenas where humans would prove their worth. The Empire had struck with overwhelming force, but humans had shown resilience and ingenuity. The lessons of this battle would guide them in the challenges to come, and as humanity repaired, rebuilt, and prepared for the next confrontation, one truth was clear. The Empire may have advanced technology, but humans had something it could never predict: heart, courage, and the power of a united people determined to defend their home. The war for Earth was far from over. But humanity had faced the Empire's greatest strike yet and had survived. That survival, and the courage shown in the face of overwhelming odds, was the first step in proving that humans were a force to be reckoned with. The next battle would come, but Earth would be ready. The Empire had struck with overwhelming force, testing humanity's limits, but humans had survived. Now it was time to take the fight directly to them. Across Earth and its colonies, a daring plan was being prepared, a covert strike at the heart of the Empire's fleet. It was a bold mission, risky beyond measure, but humanity had no choice. In the command center orbiting Earth, Dr. Liana Chen reviewed the strategy with Admiral Rael. "We cannot outgun them head-on," she said. "Their ships are faster, their weapons stronger. But they are not prepared for human unpredictability. That is our advantage. We must use it to strike where it hurts them most." "The command ship," Rael nodded. "We will send a small team. They will infiltrate the fleet using stealth technology and unconventional tactics. Our main fleet will create diversions, drawing attention away. Success depends on precision and timing." Volunteers and engineers worked tirelessly to prepare the ships and drones for the mission. Stealth systems were tested, navigation calculated with extreme accuracy, and contingency plans drafted for every possible scenario. Civilians, scientists, and military personnel worked together. combining their knowledge to create tools and strategies that could challenge even the Empire's advanced technology. Lieutenant Miko Yara and his team were chosen for the infiltration. They were young, skilled, and fearless, having already proven themselves in previous battles. Each member understood the danger. If they failed, the consequences would be catastrophic. Yet they were determined to act. "We may be small," Miko said to his team, "but our minds and our courage are stronger than any weapon they have." The human fleet moved into position near the Empire's command area, using asteroids and the darkness of space as cover. Diversionary attacks began, drawing the attention of Empire warships while the infiltration team prepared to slip through the defenses. Dr. Chen monitored every movement from Earth. "Patience," she said. "Wait for the moment when their sensors are distracted. That is when we strike." The infiltration team moved silently, gliding past patrol drones and automated defenses. They used small asteroid fragments to mask their presence, timing movements perfectly to avoid detection. Every step required precision, creativity, and courage. The smallest mistake could lead to immediate destruction. Inside the Empire's fleet, chaos began to unfold. The diversionary human attacks created confusion, pulling resources away from the command ship. Sensors were overloaded with false signals and automated defenses scrambled to respond. This was humanity's chance. Miko's team reached the heart of the fleet. The command ship loomed large, imposing, and bristling with defenses. Yet the humans were not deterred. Using a combination of stealth, timing, and clever maneuvers, they bypassed shields and internal security systems. Drones disabled critical circuits while the pilots navigated carefully through narrow corridors in space, avoiding detection. Dr. Chen's voice guided them remotely. "Now deploy the device. Timing is everything." The team activated the experimental device, a human-designed system that disrupted the Empire's navigation and communication networks. Lights flickered across the command ship as chaos spread. Orders became delayed, coordination faltered, and the fleet's previously perfect formations dissolved into confusion. Admiral Rail saw the opportunity. "All units engage," he commanded. Human ships moved with speed and precision, striking where defenses were weakest. Ships that had once been untouchable were now vulnerable. Explosions rippled through the Empire's fleet, evidence of human ingenuity and bravery in action. Even in the chaos, Miko's team pressed forward. They maneuvered through enemy defenses using quick thinking and creativity to achieve objectives. Every action, every decision showcased the essence of humanity: adaptability, courage, and intelligence. Hours passed and the Empire's fleet faltered. The command ship, the source of their power and coordination, was severely disrupted. Without communication and guidance, the fleet scattered. Human ships exploited the confusion, capturing supply vessels and disabling warships. The battle that had once seemed impossible was now turning in humanity's favor. Back on Earth, people watched anxiously as reports came in. They cheered for every victory, every daring maneuver, and every act of courage from the pilots and engineers. Humanity had shown that intelligence, creativity, and determination could challenge even the most advanced enemy in the galaxy. The Empire, shaken by the unexpected disruption, struggled to regroup. Officers in their command ship analyzed the situation, frustrated and surprised. Humans had proven that despite inferior technology, they could create opportunities through ingenuity and unpredictability. The lesson was clear: humans could not be underestimated. After the battle, Admiral Rail addressed the fleet. "Today, humanity has demonstrated something extraordinary. We faced overwhelming odds and we turned them to our advantage. This is only the beginning, but we have proven that courage, intelligence, and unity are stronger than fear or superior weapons." Dr. Chen looked at the screens, her mind already working on future strategies. "The Empire may adapt," she said. "They will try again. But we have learned, we have grown, and we have shown them that humans are more than technology. We are capable of thinking, adapting, and achieving what others think impossible." Across the solar system, Earth's colonies celebrated cautiously. The victory was significant, but the war was not over. Humanity had shown its strength and resilience, but it had also revealed itself to the Empire as a force that could not be ignored. Volunteers and engineers continued to work, building more ships, refining weapons, and improving communication networks. Every citizen understood that survival depended on cooperation, creativity, and courage. Humanity was no longer just reacting. They were actively shaping the course of the conflict. In private moments, Miko Yara reflected on the battle. "We faced the impossible," he said. "And we succeeded not because of our weapons, but because of our minds and our determination. That is what makes us human. That is what makes us strong." Admiral Rail nodded in agreement. "The Empire has underestimated us for the last time. They thought technology alone would ensure victory. But humans are more than machines. We are adaptable, intelligent, and courageous. That is our advantage." Dr. Chen summarized the outcome. Humanity had proven that even in the face of a technologically superior enemy, creativity, coordination, and determination could turn the tide. Small teams had executed brilliant maneuvers. Civilians had contributed to strategy and innovation, and the human fleet had demonstrated resilience under extreme pressure. The Empire's retreat did not bring relief. It brought awareness. Humanity had shown its capabilities, and the galaxy would take notice. Allies previously silent began to reach out, intrigued by humanity's ingenuity and courage. Earth's reputation was growing, not just as a planet to defend, but as a civilization capable of inspiring hope and respect. As the human fleet regrouped, Admiral Rail and Dr. Chen spoke quietly in the command center. "We have achieved something remarkable," Rail said, "but we must remain vigilant. The Empire will adapt, and we must be ready for whatever comes next." Dr. Chen nodded. "We will adapt too. Humans are unpredictable. We think, we innovate, and we survive. That is our strength, and the Empire will learn it soon enough." On Earth, people looked up at the stars with renewed hope. Humanity had faced a superior force and triumphed through ingenuity, courage, and unity. The victory had strengthened not only the military but the spirit of every human being. Children learned that intelligence and bravery were as important as strength. Communities worked together, supporting research, development, and education. The Empire had tested humanity, but it had underestimated the power of human heart and mind. In the darkness of space, humans had shown that even the most advanced technology could not predict creativity, courage, and resilience. Humanity had proven that it could rise above fear, innovate under pressure, and fight for its home with unyielding determination. The war for Earth was far from over, but the tide had begun to turn. Humanity had struck boldly, disrupted the enemy, and reclaimed its place as a force capable of defending its home. And in doing so, it had shown the galaxy the true spirit of being human, fearless, resourceful, and united in the defense of freedom.